Daniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Tej pack. Tej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliate and scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tej pack. Feel the Tej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tapping in for the Millionaire Morning Show. I am running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And I'm going to tell you why. It's the balance, right? It's the balance that comes along with being a father, being a businessman, being a husband, being a mentor, a coach, being a corporate executive, all of those different hats. That's why I'm wearing this hat today. It's all of the different hats, as well as representing for the Lapeef brand. Shout out to my dogs. All of those different hats that I think that men have to wear on a regular basis, that women, I don't think y'all want this life. Y'all genuinely don't want the life of men, and you really don't understand what it is that we go through. But shout out to all of my people that's in the chat today, everybody that's watching on multiple different platforms. I appreciate you. I love you. It is October 20th. 2022, and we are going to do everything that we do every single day on a regular basis. I got some great videos coming for y'all today. I got a great show prepared for you today. We got Lapeef Let's Talk tonight. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I appreciate all of my bag chasers. And then more importantly, make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Tej Henley, uncomplicated skincare for men, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. Make sure you tap into that Tej pack. We thank you for sponsoring the show and always holding us down. Absolutely, positively great. What's going on, family? I see y'all saying Rich Rising. Manchild said, what up, though, Anton? Seeing you at the game last night. Y'all see me at the game last night? I don't know if, listen, I was telling Rita this morning, I was talking to her. I said, yo, I think I should be a little bit more covert. A little bit more covert. Like, I am a very public dude. Everybody was at the game. It was a phenomenal game last night. It was a great game last night. The Pistons are looking great, and I don't even want them to win because I actually want them to get another draft pick. I seen Banchero. He was out there. I was out there yelling. I'm surprised that I still even got a voice to even be able to kick it with y'all today. Ivy, Cunningham, Cade Cunningham, he got going. Durant is a man-child out there. So shout out to everybody that I ran into at the game, that seen me at the game, that hollered at me at the game, all of the people, a lot of the people that was around me. We was jumping up and down and having a good time. My daughter was there with me. I had my daughter, my baby girl. Yeah, I know, right? Beautiful Disaster said caught, right? I know. You know, the tripped out thing about it is that I just contemplate it every day. every single day I have to be very, very intentional with how I move. I mean, and I'm talking about from the time that I'm at the airport to the times that I'm at the game. And again, I had my little baby girl with me. I had Leslie, and Leslie is evolving, man. I mean, she's growing so much, and it's funny because, like, when I was taking Leslie to the games last year, which was the first year that we had outside of the pandemic where we had a full season and we sit in courtside, and Leslie was like a little bit more timid, a lot more reserved. Like she would have her friends there, and she would just try to play it cool and stuff like that. And even now, like when we was first at the game, and I was, kicking it with the little cheerleaders and stuff like that. And she was like, Dad, wait a minute, I don't know. And then by the end of the game, she jumping up and yelling and screaming. And she went to school with half a voice the same way that I almost came to the Millionaire Morning Show with half a voice. And she's evolved. I mean, we had a lot of conversations because her mom is out in Vegas with her mother and they having a good time and spending all of my money and stuff like that. So, having that one-on-one quality time, which I've been fortunate enough to really be able to pour into my daughter, um, a lot. I've been fortunate enough to be able to pour into my daughter a whole lot in her entire life. Super blessed, very thankful, and we were having conversations. We in the car, we riding in the Benzo, soon to be the Enzo, on the way home, and then she pours her heart out to me, and she tells me what's on her heart and on her mind, and she's like, Dad, I think I'm about to transfer out of this class because this teacher is getting on my nerve, and I'm like, nope, you're not transferring out of the class. She's like, why not? I thought you wanted me to be happy. I said, I did. I told you to be happy and not worry about what you need to do as an adult. I don't want you worried about what you want to do for a living when you get older. I want you to focus on being happy, but that don't mean that you're not supposed to go through what you're supposed to go through. Well, I don't think that my teacher liked me. I said, nope, you the problem. She said, I said, you the problem. She said, what you mean? I seen her little tears crying up out of her. It hurt my heart to, talk to her like that sometimes. I said, listen, life. So what you going to do when you become an adult? The first thing you're going to do when you don't like your bosses, you're going to just want to change jobs every single time. You still taking you with you. The first time that somebody pisses you off, you're going to look to change relationships. The first time that things get a little bit dark or heavy, you're going to lean on the fact that, well, my daddy got money and he take care of me so I can do whatever it is. I said, no. I said, I want you to fail in controlled environments. And I talk to her just like this. The same way I talk to y'all. I want you to fail in controlled environments, and I'm not going to let you just move and run every single time you have a problem. You can just change. I'm not coming up there to talk to your teacher. I'm not doing none of that. If your teacher send me an email, me and you going to have a problem. Fix it. Figure it out. If your teacher don't like you, figure out how to make her like you. Figure out how to get in her good graces. Be a volunteer. Whatever you have to do, you figure it out and you make it work. And her little tears just come down her little face. And she was like, she had her little white girl moment. She said, I don't think you understand me. It took me everything in my life, not to laugh. So I'm turning to the other way so I don't laugh or whatever. Because her mom sent me a message, and I told Rita, I always tell Rita, I said, I'm gonna handle this. Once she get past a certain age, she her daddy's girl. Daddy got to step in and handle these responsibilities. Mama can't do it all. And so, I was pouring into her, but by the end of the night, she jumping on my back. We on FaceTime with her mom, and she practically slept in my bed last night. And so, she came to me and she thanked me. She said, Joe, I know you only tell me these hard things because you want me to be better. And so she said, I'm going to do it your way. I'm going to do it your way. I'm going to make every single effort, and I'm going to figure out how to make her like me. And this is the importance of not only having a father in your life, and I want to transition over into Hafiz and just pearly things, but this is the importance of not only having a father in your daughter's lives and in your son's lives, but it's also the importance of being able to raise a kid in a two-parent household. I cannot stress enough why and the context behind why I made the decision that I made to even have one child. Because I wanted to be able to pour every single thing that I had into that child and not separate resources, not separate my time, not divide myself but I wanted to be able to give her everything she needed in order to be successful and spend that one-on-one quality time. I want her down there experiencing courtside with me every game. I said, you can go to as many games as you want to. She's evolved and grown into a space where she wants to spend a majority of her time with her dad. We spend so much quality time together now that she's in high school, middle school to high school and things like that. And what I'm trying to help you to understand is that every single thing you have to make, every single decision that you have to make it from a business perspective. When I made the decision to have one child, I made that from a business perspective because her having the greatest opportunity to be successful was a business decision. I didn't know that I was going to have the resources that I had. I hoped I would. I worked towards it, but I very much intended to fund her going to college and not her coming out and begging Biden for a student loan, asking for student loan forgiveness. Because we know, if you look at the statistics, that women are the most enrolled, black women specifically, but the highest in debt. You know what it's like to not have to ever in life send your kid in a daycare because, we made the strategic decision to only have, when Rita had a kid, that she would never work but have the option to work once she got to the point to where my daughter was going to school full time. Do you know what it's like to have your chick work for you? Do you know the importance of great family structure and the reason why kids raised in two-parent households with married parents are infinitely more successful than children that aren't? Every decision that you make, the person that you lay next to, how many kids you have, what you gonna do for a living, whether or not she's gonna be able to work while your kid, sending them to daycare, all of that. Every single decision that you make in life, including the relationships that you have, is a business decision. Everything. Every single decision that you make in life is a business decision. And so when you sit here and you're trying to convince me that you can have 10 kids on $80,000 a year, I'm going to call you a bold-faced lie. You can do what you want, but it doesn't absolve you from being a responsible parent, and whether or not that kid turns out as a kid that is out here stealing my hubcaps because they never experienced and they don't know what it's like to have, and every other month they got to get a cutoff notice, and the cell phones is getting cut off, and it's cold in the wintertime, and you don't have the capacity to be able to drop all 8 kids off at school throughout the day. And so as a result, you got to make this one take the bus and this one got to catch a ride with their uncle. And I don't know if we're going to have enough food in order for you to get home and everything. Yo, listen, life is real. You can't be sitting out here having children and laying up with these chicks and getting people pregnant and not getting married and all of that other type of stuff, and then raising these kids in these environments, and then you subjecting them to stuff that they never asked to be here for. You can't, this ain't no video game. This is real life. This is real life. And however they turn out, they're going to pay for the sins of their fathers and their mothers. Every decision that you make now, even if you don't have kids now and you want to have kids, the things that you do today is going to affect what their life is going to be like. So every decision that I make has got to be a 10, 15, 20-year decision, because I know that there are people that are depending on me, so much so to the point that the thing that keeps me in the gym every single day today. Every day I'm in the gym every day. Every day I fight. Every single day. And once I get there, I'm straight. But every single day I'm in the gym. The thing that keeps me in the gym is the fact that I know that it's people that's depending on me to make sure that I live a long life in order to ensure that they can feed their families, that people are able to get all of the coaching, all of the successes. Everything that happens is depending on every single decision that I make every single day. I'm not. It's business. Life is a business. Marriage is a business. Children is a business. It's not without love, but it should not be a primary focus as a man. Women have the ability to be able to lead with love first, because a lot of times and in certain situations, they're in certain environments that allow for them to be able to move that way. But men don't have that luxury, and nor do I want it, because I was born to be a man. And so make sure that A, as a woman, you stay in a woman's place. B, as a man, you make sure that you make every decision based off of business and not based off of how you feel, because we don't have the luxury of moving in our emotions. We have to be that steady rock, that ship That no matter what the waves is coming, you just stay steady. No rocking the boat. Everybody got to get home safe. Everybody got to get home safe. And then, ladies, last but not least, please, for the love of God, and I'm about to get into this Hafiz conversation, leave that man alone. Stop being a nag. I get so many calls on a regular basis from women that are saying, oh, I love him. And then the guy be like, yeah, I love her too. But Jesus Christ, Anton, I don't know what the piss to do. I'm trying to go to work every day. I'm out here killing myself. She want me to be up under her. She talking about, I need to discuss this and I need to discuss that and why I'm willing to go and hang out with my friends, but I won't separate from them and spend my time with you. Girl, I say, put her on the phone. They get on the phone. I said, hey, go sit in your car because I don't want nobody to hear what I'm about to say to you. Okay, Anton. If I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, God strike me down right now. I said, hey, put your girl on the phone. They put her on the phone. I said, hey, go get in your car. I don't want him to hear what I'm about to say to you. She go get in the car. I say, leave that man the fuck alone. Don't you know his way of showing love to you is whether or not he hit the light switch on? Now, that don't mean that I'm not going to have a conversation with him and help him to understand how to communicate more effectively in order to make sure that that chick is moving the way that she's supposed to move. But ladies, if you don't get the fuck out of the way and let that man do what he got to do, and I'm sorry for cussing, but I just got to let y'all know, leave that man alone. Let him do what he need to do. And when he get home, he don't want to have to come home and fight harder and go back and forth with you and argue when he been conquering the world all day. You supposed to be his refuge. If that man only work overtime so that he don't have to deal with you on a regular basis, Houston, we got a problem. As a person that has been married for 18 years, I am telling you, leave that man alone. Let him have his space. And please don't try to regulate him to any portion of the house talking about that's your man cave. No, the whole house is his man cave. You get a portion of the house. If somebody is arguing, you get your ass on the couch or fix that shit and go back in the room and act like you got some sense. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Is no reason, fellas, is no reason in the world why you should ever have to sleep on a couch in a house that you pay for. We don't do that. We don't play that game. That's dead. We left that behind with them simps of yesteryear that was trying to convince us a happy wife, happy life. That whole house that you pay for is your man cave. Do with it as you see fit. Start putting things back in place and in order. This is not a game. This is not a race that you want to run for the rest of your life. And then you're going to be sitting at me trying to ask me to repair you. This is not Ayanna Van Sant fix my life. I am not going to fix your life. I am going to proactively give you the steps that you need in order to have a successful marriage. I am not the one that's going to tell you the blue pill remedy. I'm going to give you the formula for how to be successfully married. This is the fundamentals. How you start off is how you finish. Do not start to set expectations in which she can start to control the narrative. She wants to be humble. She wants to be submissive. But if you don't set the expectation, it is going to be a problem in there. It is going to be a problem. I'm just saying. I'm just going to give you the game. I'm going to give you the game. It is important for you to understand how it is that you're supposed to move effectively in your household. That whole house is yours. And it don't mean go in there and be a boss bat. Don't go in there slapping everybody up just because you had a bad day at work. You need to start learning how to balance it. But at the same time, lady, would it kill you for 5 seconds to do your hair, halfway do some makeup, look presentable when he come in and stop having rollers in your head and stop looking like somebody put you in a boxing match? Would it kill you for 5 seconds to look halfway decent? You know, I got a girl. Hold on. Let me show you. Let me kick it with y'all for a minute. Let me see if she's available. I just want to get, and we gonna get straight into the Hafiz. I ain't even talked to her in a long time.
Hello?
What's up, girl?
Hey, what's going on?
I ain't talked to you in a long time. What you doing?
I'm at work.
All right, listen, you on a live stream, so don't say too many details, all right?
Okay.
How long has it been since we talked?
I don't know, like maybe some months.
Some months, right?
Yeah.
No, it's got to be longer than that.
No, it's been some months. I've seen you over grandma's house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we did. Let me ask you a question. How old are you?
40.
You 40 years old. We the same age, right?
Yeah.
Same age, right?
Okay.
How long have you been married?
I've been married for 22 years.
You 40, you've been married for 22 years, right?
Yes.
So you've been married for 4 years longer than me. I got married at 22, you got married at 18 years old.
Right.
Our birthday is the same month.
Yes. You're 2 weeks older than me.
I'm 2 weeks older than you. Birthday the same month. You've been married for 22 years, you're 40 years old, right?
Right.
And I keep trying to tell these people that every single person that's in my circle moves the exact same way. We family, right?
Right.
You my cousin, right?
Yeah.
This is largely what our family do, correct?
True.
Okay, so let me ask you one more question. When I was over your house one night, I don't know if you remember this. I was over your house.
I do remember it.
You already remember what I'm about to ask?
It was in 2012.
Dang, you got a great memory. In 2012, I was over your house, and it was like 11, 12 o'clock at night, right?
Because my husband was working midnights.
And what did you start doing?
I started doing my hair and putting on makeup.
Why did you start doing your hair and putting on makeup?
Because my husband was coming home.
Now, you didn't give a piss about what you look like to us. And you start getting ready, and I'm like, why is this girl starting to get ready? What's she doing? You about to go out to the club? And she said, no, my husband about to get home. She went and got in the shower. She did her makeup. She got her hair done and everything like that. I said, what are you doing? Are you still like that?
Of course.
All right. That's all I wanted to know. I'm going to talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye. I'm going to send y'all to some wife classes. When I tell you that my family don't know divorce, is because our women are groomed to be a certain type of way. And please don't tell me the stereotype about black women, because she is a black woman. This is my cousin, 2 weeks older than me, known her since I was born. Since I've opened my eyes, I've known this girl. Groomed to be a wife. Married a guy that was my best friend. I've known this dude since I was young. We groom the guys and we groom the girls. Any guy that come in my vicinity, you gonna learn how to be a real man. My father, my mother, my aunts, my uncles, my church, my environment. We all groom men to be a certain type of way, and we groom women to be a certain type of way. When you sit out here and you see these women with these butterfly eyelashes and they rocking out in the streets, when I tell you I don't know that life, all I know is women that has been great and phenomenal and married since they got out of high school, and then they went to college and they doing phenomenal, and they raised their kids to be great men and women, and I mentor their young boys and they all work for me, and we just continue to keep it all in the family. Please don't tell me how Jewish people and white people are better than us, because I am the blueprint. My family is the blueprint. I was groomed to have this conversation with you right here, right now, because all I know is what successfully married look like. I'm not talking about just being married. I'm talking about being successfully married. We know what women are supposed to do. So when you sit here and tell me, Anton, you don't know nothing about how women are supposed to move, it's just Rita, she anomaly. No, Rita ain't an anomaly. Rita is a duplication of my girl, E. And L, and I'm not going to say their names because I don't want y'all searching them out on the internet, but every single woman that I know is the same way. Rita is a reflection of the women that is around me. When Rita is out here enjoying and living happy life, all my homies is fucking millionaires. We have millionaire parties. I'ma send your girl to me. I'm going to show her how to be the woman that she's supposed to be. She going to love you. You going to be thinking like, what the fuck did he do? Just reprogram her brain? All I know is women that are successfully married. When my mom got widowed, when my dad died in 2017, these women can't find a man to save their life. My mom had married a man that it was the exact reflection of my father. Within 2 years, He waited for her. He was single his whole life. Dude is a beast. Is exactly like my father, and my mom was married in no time. If you're sitting here and telling me that it's impossible and at the dating market and these women and all of this other type of stuff, when I tell you I know women that are killing it, winning, submissive, focused, dedicated to their man, don't have no problem whatsoever, I'm trying to tell you that I have the solution. This ain't no blue pill, red pill talk right here. This is real life and people that is actually living it on a regular, everyday basis. This ain't no theory. This ain't no YouTube talking point. This has been my real life. I don't know what divorce looks like. All we are is a group of phenomenal black people that kill it, get money, got phenomenal kids, and all of our women are submissive. What else do you want? What else do you want? Send your wife over here to wife class. We gonna get her together. Dudes text me every day, yo, I think I found my Rita. No, you ain't, because your Rita ain't been sitting around with me. I can show you what your chick is supposed to do. And she gonna have her life together. Anyways, I don't want to beat a dead horse. We're gonna get into it. When I tell you I know it, I know it. I ain't talked to that girl in a long time. Reginald Green says, I had the financial conversation with my wife. Looking forward to the next coaching call. Appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you for rocking with me. Thank you for everybody that support the platform with the cash apps and super chats. Son of the Divine says, oh, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for the fireball. Osmosis reacts. I rock with you. I appreciate you. So let's get into this. I was born for this. Listen, you know how Jesus was born in the manger so that he can die for our sins? I was born to teach you how to be successfully married, get to that bag, and then be a reflection of the thing that I'm advocating for. Absolutely. Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. So, Hafiz started and running a channel with his friends. He said that he started it with 4 roommates or something like that. And that's why the name of the channel was called The Roommates. The Roommates itself has over 500,000 subscribers. I think that that is an incredible feat. I will take nothing away from Hafiz. I always want to start with the good news before we leave with the bad news. He started his own channel. He's now doing his own thing with a company called The Standard, where he's selling suits. I'm not quite sure about these suits that he's been wearing lately, but I know he's selling suits. I know he's talking about the marriage life. And to my knowledge, what people have been telling me is that he's just recently gotten married within 1 to 2 years. Let me help you to understand something. You can be successfully married, but that don't mean that you got to be blue pill. You can be successfully married, but that don't mean that you got to be blue pill. Shout out to Brock. He said, Pastor, you preaching today. Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, somebody go get me my handkerchief so I can wipe my head and then my water. You know how they do in the church? Yes, Pastor, preach. Hafiz. So, what you guys are telling me in a timeline, because I didn't have the time to research every single thing Hafiz, but y'all said that, yo, he was on Fresh and Fit. He didn't interview Jordan Peterson. He's largely leaned into the red pill audience, although I've never heard him say in any video that I've watched that he's red pill, but he's recently gotten married. He had a conversation, he even interviewed Kevin Samuels, and he's recently gotten married. And it looks as though he's turned into a happy wife, happy life guy. So without further ado, I did go over a little bit of it on the Q&A show. Shout out to my homegirl Q last night. But I want to review this video because we all are familiar with how Coach Greg Adams just absolutely positively schooled this dude and took him up and down and through the alcohol river and then set him back down on the razor blade so that he can go and sit himself down for a second. But he decided, he said, you know what? I'm not done with going on valuetainment with Greg Adams. I'm going to go talk to my white homegirl called Just Pearly Things, who was on the Lapeef show. Shout out to Pearl. Pearl is killing it too. Obviously, her platform is like a meteor. But he said, I'm going to go and talk to Pearl. Now, listen, you can't get schooled by an older black man and then go get schooled by a white girl right after it. Shout out to Team Trill 757. Said, blast that play it around. Hey, make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and then turn on your notifications. You can't get schooled by Coach Greg Adams and then get massacred by a white woman. So what I'm gonna do is, now that we know that what happened with Coach Greg Adams, because Coach Greg Adams is largely for informing men and then not necessarily saying that they should get married, but making sure that their eyes are open, eyes wide open to what it is that you're getting yourself into, right? From all intents and purposes. Maybe I'll reach out to Coach Greg and see if I can get him on the platform, because it'll be interesting to get a completely different perspective from a guy that is currently married, advocates for successful marriages. That's much different than Hafiz. But we're going to see what we can do, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have that conversation. Sunshine says, women can win with this message. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to my girl, O. O says, Grand Rising Gems, Anton, Rita, and chat. Marriage is a beautiful thing. Utah should be highlighted more. Oh, I'm sorry. You two should be highlighted more. This would have been 22 years this month is if we were still together. Wow. What's up, O? Oh, I'm going to see you. I think I'm going to see you tomorrow, O. Today, Thursday? Tomorrow's Friday? I'm either going to see you tomorrow or I'm going to see you Saturday. I hope you're ready to come and kick it with the king. I'm different in person. I'm much better in person. But let's figure this out. So we're gonna play we're gonna try to go through as much as we can of this Pearl video. I'm gonna skip around if it gets too redundant, because I looked at some parts yesterday and he was just rambling. He was just rambling and rambling and rambling. Tomorrow, oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. All right, let's get into this video. Let's get it popping, y'all.
What up, guys? Welcome to the Just Pearly Things YouTube channel. Today, I have a special
I'm gonna fast forward it a little bit.
Excited about this new thing that me and my business partner are building. So my guy, you in a box. So challenge to me is even them. They give you praise words, hope to like. You have to ask yourself, are you teaching any ideas? Like, is there any principles that you're?
Let me go back a little bit. I want to get to our first question.
To improve his life. So we interview some of the best and brightest. The everyday man can come to improve his life. So we interview some of the best and brightest individuals, such as Jordan Peterson, Gary Vee.
They've had a who's who on that platform. All right. So this is Pearl's first question.
Red pill.
Never in a million.
Pearl's first question.
First question.
Go ahead.
Would you consider yourself red pill?
Never in a million years.
Never. Why?
Never in a million years.
Why?
So the first thing that her first question is, would you consider yourself red pill? And he said, never, never, never in a million years. Never, never, never in a million years. And then he's going to add the context.
I think, to me, first and foremost, I think I don't subscribe to any man-made ideology.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of these ideologies put you in a box. So I do subscribe to religion, and people can argue whether that's man-made or not. That's going to be a great conversation, great debate. You get a guy like Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson.
So he doesn't subscribe to any man-made ideology, but he subscribes to religion. This guy is already lost. He is already lost. He has no clue in concept. This almost reminds me of somebody that's just now found Christianity, or just now we call them a new babe in Christ. And they start talking and they so on fire for Jesus, and all of a sudden they know all of the Bible, but they don't have any temperance. They don't have any context. They don't really understand what it is that they're saying. He said, I don't subscribe to any man-made ideology, but I do subscribe to religion. Should I break that down, or should I let this guy go ahead and hang himself? Hold on, Pearl. Pearl, I got you, baby girl. I got you. I'm about to drop the link for you. I see you. I got you, Pearl. Give me a second. Boom, boom, boom. Let me flip it for you. Give me a second. All right, that's just for you, Pearl. I got you. So that's just for you. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat for you to be able to come up whenever it is that you come up. That is just for her. That is not for anybody else, all right? So give me a second. Let me pin that to the top of the chat. That is just for Pearl. That is not for anybody else, okay? All right, let me continue.
Had a great debate about that. But in regards to man-made ideologies, I don't really subscribe to them as much, and I don't like to identify myself with something that somebody else has conjured up with their own personal opinion. And so I think in regards to the red pill is a very interesting space, a lot of interesting characters there. And I think the biggest challenge to me is the phrase that they use is that we're all we're doing is trying to share the truth about fill in the blank, right? And to me, it's very, very arrogant as a human being to say I myself am the orator of the truth. I know the truth. My studies are the accurate studies. My ideas are the accurate ideas. I am the only individual who knows these things. And so to me, that ideology seems very cult like, in my opinion. If you believe in them, they give you praise words like, oh, yo, you're red pilled, you're an alpha male, right? And if you disagree with them, they give you the curse words, right? You are blue pilled, you are a beta male, right?
Are you talking about like the comments section?
I'm just talking about this the idea of the
Okay.
philosophy, right?
Okay.
So the people who
I don't know why he didn't just call it out for what it is. He's talking specifically about the men that are in the red pill space. He's not talking about specifically he's not talking about no audience members. And you know, one of the things that I'm bothered by is I don't like the idea of guys speaking in general. If it's something specific that you feel, then say what it is that you mean and mean what you say. Don't fall back on your feminine talking about, I'm not, you know what, I'm not talking about anybody in particular, but I'm talking. No, you talking about the guy specifically that is highlighting and talking about anything red pill related or label themselves red pill. And I think that he's been around long enough to understand exactly what red pill means. Red pill is largely based off of the movie The Matrix. That's it. It's based off of the movie The Matrix. And the idea of it is just being aware and awoken to whatever it is that's really happening in society. It's not necessarily telling you what you should or shouldn't do. What it tells you is that, do you want to take the red pill or the blue pill that is basically giving you the insight and the information as to what it is that you're really facing and the human nature really of women. That's all it is. And it's not even started by black men specifically. It's started by a lot of white men too. So, for example, if you take a guy that I really like, and I think his name is Rich, he's Entrepreneur in Cars. Entrepreneur in Cars. Entrepreneur in Cars is a guy that highlights and talks about men's issues, but he's a white guy. He's a white guy. So nobody is telling you that you have to be one way or another, and it's not a man-made ideology. What it is it's the true nature of how women and men are and how they act and how they're supposed to operate within society. So it doesn't matter whether you're married or you're not married. To understand, Rich Cooper, that's his name, to understand exactly what's happening in society as far as the nature of men and women is what red pill is. I don't understand why that's such a hard concept to grasp. It's sort of like Christianity, right? Because what happens in Christianity a lot of times is everybody takes how other people are acting and try to tie it back into Christianity. But just because you say that you're a Christian don't mean that you necessarily adopt or live by Christian principles, right? And so just because you're a man don't mean that you understand how men are supposed to act or think. But I'd have to say, if I'm guessing, if I'm just observing, if I'm genuinely just observing, then I'd have to say that he's always been this way. He's been operating like a chameleon. He's been operating like a chameleon. And so he's been existing in red pill spaces, but he hasn't necessarily adopted any kind of philosophy, but he's just been using it for content. But the thing that I need people to do is I just need them to stand on what it is that they are from the very beginning, not profit off of it, and then pivot. Because if you've always been this way and you've always been blue pilled, because if you're not red, you're blue. For all intents and purposes, I don't really care how he identify himself. If you've been blue pilled, or because you got you a chick and now you married and who knows what the heck, who wear the pants in that household, if you blue pill, then just stand on being blue pill. Shout out to Logical Face says this Christian starts this video by using the main arguments that people use against Christianity. Facts. He's even going to complain about the different denominations. Is he? Okay, let's
the
continue.
truth. My studies are the accurate studies. My ideas are the accurate ideas. I am the only individual who knows these things. And so to me, that ideology seems very cult-like, in my opinion. If you believe in them, they give you praise words like, oh, yo, you're red-pilled, you're an
I'll
alpha
ask
male,
her.
right? And if you disagree with them, they give you the curse words, right? You are blue-pilled, you are a beta male, right?
Are you talking about like the comments section?
I'm just talking about just the idea of the philosophy, right?
Okay.
So the people who subscribe to their worldview are red pill individuals, right? Their minds have been opened up to the truth, right? And the people who disagree with their ideas are considered blue pill, right? You have rejected the truth, i.e., the Matrix, right? The guy in the Matrix, he said, "I want to go back in the machine, even though I know it. I want to go back in the machine." So to me, that seems very cult-like in regards to the ideology, and so
All religion is a cult. What are you talking about? I mean, if we really want to get down to it, the way that religions operate, whether you're a Jehovah's Witness, whether you're a Buddhist, or whether you're an atheist, or whether you're in Scientology, the cult-like philosophies apply across the board. The fact that he aligns with and he speaks from this Christian perspective, and then he puts it in a box, is very much cult-like, which is one of the reasons why people don't like religion in the first place.
there's a lot of different reasons why I don't subscribe to it, but those are the few things. I just cannot hold myself to an ideology that a certain individual
He did
or
break it
individuals
down
are
correctly,
communicating
Bobby.
without understanding the fullness of those ideas.
Yeah, because they would say it's a praxeology, not an ideology.
Yeah, it's very easy to use words like that, but then you break down what does that mean?
Yeah. So my question to you is like, what specifically do you disagree with?
Great question. So when people say things like, okay, we're not an ideology, we're a praxeology, right? You have to ask yourself, are you teaching any ideas? Like, is there any principles that your belief system is teaching? Because
Yes,
every human being's
it
belief
is.
system teaches an ideas, right? And so for me, when I see that there are certain ideas and premises that are being taught, therefore you cannot simply say we are not an ideology. There is no ideals that represent the things that we believe. And so an example of what are some of the things I disagree with, I think I primarily disagree with a lot of times the descriptions of marriage
Okay.
and just how they analyze and describe marriage in today's world.
The link is just for
I
Pearl,
disagree
y'all.
with the analysis of male female nature. I think if you were to read a book like The Evolution of Desire by Dr. David Buss, he's a world leading expert on human evolutionary psychology in regards to mating, and he's fantastic. Buss School of Psychology is amazing, and you actually read a person who's like a world-renowned expert on this topic, and you hear about all the nuance. And I love Dr. Buss because Dr. Buss understands the nuance and the cross-cultural studies and so much data. And
I'm trying to understand why he can't just answer the question and then give the context. Usually if somebody asks you a question, they say, "Hey, do you disagree with or do you agree with this?" Yes, I do. Don't I? I do not. Okay, well, why do you disagree with it, and what is it that you don't like about it? Okay, so I disagree with A, B, and C. Let me tell you why. A, it's just like writing a essay in school, right? They tell you to start with the main paragraph, list the main points, right? Talk about your thesis, the ability. It's weird to me that this guy has been on the internet since what, 2017, 16, something like that, but you can't substantiate your argument, or you don't know how to communicate effectively. Like, okay, listen, this is what I disagree with, A, B, and C. Here's why. In the first paragraph, second paragraph, and third paragraph, you identify the supporting statements depending on whatever the interviewer is asking you. And then in the conclusion, you state why, you reemphasize what it is that your thesis is, and then you substantiate your argument. I don't really understand why that's so difficult.
to read some of the more red pill, doctrinal books, you'll be like, wow, like it's literally like reading Dr. Seuss and reading something like Hamlet. It's like,
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is insane. This is insane. I have no idea what this guy is talking about. So now he's saying that the guys in the red pill space, they give the insight and information as to what it is that you're supposed to understand about female nature, human nature between men and women. Their Dr. Seuss and Dr. Buss is like reading Hamlet. Oh, man. That suit looked like he jumped in a tube of toothpaste. That's what it looked like. Did Dr. Buzz teach you what suit to wear? No, let me stop.
It's like night and day difference. And
Mhm.
so to me, I think I
What do you
acknowledge
disagree
that a
with?
lot of their ideas are truthful, like any ideology, right? Or whatever the heck word they're using nowadays to convince people that's not an ideology. Yes, those things there's truthfulness in it, but there's a whole lot of lies and a whole lot of
Like what?
information that is not statistically accurate. And that's why I've always recommended people to read books like The Evolution of Desire by Dr. David Buss, and then simply read whatever red pill literature that you want and juxtapose those two ideas, and you'd be extremely.
What do you disagree with? The question was or is, what do you disagree with? Can you imagine being ladies? Can y'all imagine having a conversation with this man? Because usually women are the ones that want to talk a lot, but they don't necessarily say anything. He gonna make you not want to talk a lot. He gonna fix you.
Astonished to the differences.
Well, it's just because everything you're saying is very broad.
Yeah.
So even said,
Thank you, Pearl. Thank you, Pearl.
their teachings on marriage, because like from my understanding of red pill is that they're not anti-marriage or pro-marriage. They're anti-marriage as it is today and the way the laws are today. And do you disagree with that?
So I'm gonna give you an example,
Okay.
and I'm excited because I'm really excited about the way you're.
Give me a second. That was my dog. He was giving me a call. So, contrary to popular belief, what a lot of people don't understand, and let me just say this really quickly. Charleston White is my guy in real life. Charleston White is my guy in real life. All right? We're not worried about that. All of the kids at the school actually know exactly who's going to be there. He's my guy in real life, and he does a lot of great things for the community and whatever, and so on and so forth. All right? So I rock with him in real life. Anyways, let's continue.
So here's a fundamental challenge, okay? So red pill is very broad.
Okay.
Very broad, right?
Really? I don't think so, actually.
You don't think so?
No.
So do you think a person like Alpha Male Strategies teaches the same exact ideas as Coach Greg Adams?
I know more about Alpha Male Strategies than Coach Greg Adams. I haven't watched a lot of Coach Greg. AMS, he's like, the fuck these hoes to sleep type.
Yeah, but he's evolved. That's old school.
Oh my God. He never actually answered the question. He never actually answered the question at all. He never actually answers a question.
I don't know. If a guy tells me he watches AMS, I'm like, I gotta run.
Yeah, but even to that point, right?
Yeah.
So you're like, I gotta run.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of there's there's individuals like Steffes Cole. I'm not sure if Steffes Cole still calls himself Red Pill, but you have the Steffes Cole guys.
Right.
A lot different than Coach Red Pill.
Okay.
A lot different.
Okay.
So what I'm articulating is that within the red pill umbrella, there's a diversity of individuals.
Yeah.
There's far right, there's guys who are a little bit more balanced. So what usually happens when we're having this conversation,
red pill in itself is the same. The different people that is speaking to their audiences, depending on the context of the conversation, is going to address whatever it is that they're going to address. So, for example, if you take Steffes Cole talks about leveling up, the nature of women, and he speaks from a young 20-something-year-old guy's perspective. If you're talking to Coach Greg Adams, Coach Greg Adams is going to speak from the perspective of a guy that's been divorced. He speaks from a man's perspective as far as what to expect when a woman evolves, when you get married, and what the divorce laws and how it's going to affect you. And it's going to give you the reality of what that is in that sense. It's not that it's a bunch of different types of ways in which you can slice the red pill. It's just the context by which you talk about it, depending on the experience of the man that's giving you the insight and the information as to what you need to wake up to. I don't know why that's so difficult to figure out.
which requires so much nuance, and I'm glad we're able to dive into it, is that when you're describing the red pill, what people want to do is one of two things. You either want to steel man them or you want to straw man them.
Mm-hmm.
The argument that you're probably feeling like, and some
Mhm.
people may feel like, is I straw man them, right? You pick the worst ideas of the red pill, the
Mhm.
worst content creators, and then you define the red pill as that.
Uh-huh.
But then on the
Here's the question though. Who's the worst content creators is what I'm really asking. Who's the worst content creators is what I'm really asking. Because you willing to name drop people and talk about them as far as what it is that they said, you know, what they stand on and all of this other type of stuff. So my question then becomes, name names, big dog. Name names, big dog.
flip side is a steel man,
Uh-huh.
where you find some of their best, brightest ideas,
Uh-huh.
ignore all the negativity, nonsense
Mhm.
ideas, and then define that as a red pill.
No, I mean, to me, it's like there's a base set of ideas, and people have different ideas of what to do with
Who
it.
defines the base set of
Facts.
ideas?
It's the exact same thing that I just broke down.
I would say that I think that's mostly who defines the base. I would say Rollo Tomasi. I think he
So-
seems to be like leading that like today, but before it seems like it was Patrice O'Neill possibly.
So you
and
think Patrice O'Neill was
No, I think a lot of like it
Let
seems
me
like a lot of
pause real
ideas
quick. Give me a
derived from
second,
him,
y'all.
but
Let me get my homegirl up here. PP. What's up, P? My girl P.
Hi, how are you?
How you doing, P? What's happening?
This is good. I just saw you reacting and I was like, I feel like I need to I feel like I need to call in.
Are you trying to save Hafiz, Pearl?
I was actually really confused in this interview. I wish I was like I should have waited a little longer to call in, but like I did not know what I walked into. I thought we were gonna agree more than disagree. And then I
You
kept
seemed
getting
like you
accused of
started
playing
shifting
games.
once he started talking.
Yeah. I was just honestly so confused that it was like I came in and like I was a fan of Hafiz, so like I came in thinking we were gonna be on the same, you know? And I didn't watch the interview from like Coach Greg Adams the day before. I saw like the beginning, but I didn't see the full thing, so I didn't know. I think he'd just come back from that, so it was like
No, that's a good thing that you didn't watch because it gave you it allowed for you to have the interview without being, you know what I'm saying, poisoned as to what it was that he was saying on the previous interview. You know what I'm saying? Like if I go in to interview somebody, a lot of times I don't watch the content that they've recently done because it allows for me to ask questions without being biased based off of the way that they fumbled the day before. But when you asked them the first question and you said, "Yo, you know, asking about the red pill," was you surprised about that?
um I wasn't surprised he said he wasn't red pill, but I was just because I knew their content. He was like more pro getting married and that sort of thing. I was surprised when he started to call me a grifter, basically.
Why did
um,
he call you a grifter?
yeah, you'll see. Um,
Oh my god.
and when he was yeah, there is some instances where you'll just see I was like, oh wow, because there's it all started when he was like, I see the type of interview you're trying to have, and I was like, what type of interview am I trying to have?
You wasn't really grilling him. You was just like asking him additional context to some of the stuff that he was saying.
Yeah, because I would ask him a question and then he would give me this long answer. And that's one thing I think I need to work on as an interviewer is like honing in my guests.
No, you
Because you would
shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. Don't do it. Don't do it because the beautiful thing about interviewing is that you can just kind of let them talk. But what happens is they don't have a script. You know, it's easier when you get on the camera, right? And you got a subject and you just want to make an 8, 10, 12-minute video and you just want to talk to the people. It's easy for them to frame it however it is that they want to frame it. But when you get in front of people and you let them talk, you get to see what they're really about. So why would you want to hone them in? You trying to
well,
save him. You trying to save him. That's what it is.
no, I mean like how do I put it? Like when it's kind of like when you ask one question and the interviewer or the person you're interviewing gives you like a 10-minute response and they don't answer the question. It's kind of not entertaining for the viewer because it's like,
Oh,
I
it
mean,
was
I guess
very
this one is
entertaining. It
what?
was very entertaining. It was incredibly entertaining. But I mean, and you're in a difficult position though, too, right? Because you're a girl. So then, like, you can't really start moving a little bit more masculine and then, try to control as much as you really want to hone him in because it seemed like he was dead set on trying to debate with you. And it didn't seem like you was trying to debate at all.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm telling you, I was a fan. I was like, that's why I was so confused. He started accusing me of playing games. I was like, what games?
Okay, so now I got to ask you, Pearl. And you can choose not to answer. Or you can make a modification. Are you still a fan?
I don't want to say I'm not a fan. I would just say that was the most. I left that interview. I felt triggered. That's why I left. I left. I was like, was I just triggered? Because at first I was like, maybe I'm being dramatic. Like maybe I shouldn't be offended. And I wasn't really that offended because it's just one person. But I was like, he was disrespectful. Was I making that up? Like. And then I watched it back and everyone was like, no, he was disrespectful. And I was like, oh, okay. I wanted to make sure because sometimes like when you're in a conversation, it's like you might take something one way. And I always try to like wait before but
what was the energy like before y'all interviewed?
He was just quiet. He just looked really, really tired. And that's what I said to him before the interview started. I was like, because I was kind of nervous he wasn't going to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I stood corrected. That was not a fear that I should have had.
Do you think that because I know you are familiar with his content and I know you're familiar, like I know y'all, kind of dealt with each other as far as like, interacting and stuff like that, a while ago, whatever. Do you think that he's evolved based off of, what you've known of him prior to this interview and what he's evolved into? Do you think that he's evolved to be a lot more blue-pilled, even regardless of how he identifies himself? In your personal opinion, do you think he's evolved to be a lot more blue-pilled based off of, I don't know, his life experiences, him getting married? What do you think of that?
I didn't really watch his like super red pill content. I watched his interviews.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to watch him like interview Candace Owens, AMS. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, and there he seemed to let the other party talk. So I I don't know. I kind of expected the same, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not with the like. I have no idea what happened with the red pill, him getting married, and all that. I never really saw him as a super red pill content creator. I just saw him as like an interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
I'd never seen him as an interviewer. I seen him as a person that was trying to create content that was giving men advice.
Yeah, that too. But I didn't watch like the men's advice stuff because it's like.
Because I don't even look at myself as an interviewer. Like I look at myself as a person that kind of give advice and tell people what they should and shouldn't do based off of my own life experiences. But then when I talk to people, a lot of times, I think it turns into a different type of conversation when I'm talking to people in real life. Because I'm used to giving my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I even have to pull back and let the guest talk a lot, which I thought you did a lot. Like you let him get off his thoughts, you let him say what it is that he said, and essentially he doubled down on the thing that he was talking when he was talking to Craig Adams.
I swear to God, I almost didn't post this because I was like, I felt like I was like, I don't think I did a good job interviewing. Like, so I almost didn't post it.
Would you do it any differently?
There were times where he said things that were disrespectful that I wish I kind of checked him a little bit more on. Slightly. Like I think I could have. Yeah, that's probably what I would have did differently because it's one thing to like have someone come and be like rude to you on your own show. And
Mhm.
I don't know. That's probably what I would have changed.
Why though? Because I mean, when people are rude to you on your own show, they kind of do themselves a disservice. Because I mean, come on, let's be clear. You're a meteor, right? You're killing it right now on every single platform. You do great shows. Your platform is exploding and things like that. So regardless of where he is, you hot right now. And so he's doing himself a favor by aligning himself with you or coming on your platform and doing an interview. So for him to be disrespectful to you, that's almost like Kev, he would come and he would rock with us and stuff like that. And it
Mhm.
was like we would just automatically cede the platform to him and kind of let him, control the flow or the tempo, or we would give him the majority of the praise and stuff like that simply because he was doing us a favor by
Mhm.
appearing on what it was that we was putting together. And so I don't look at it as you just be trying to protect people. That's what it is. You be trying to protect people from themselves.
I wouldn't say I was trying to protect anyone. I feel like you'll see there were points in the interview where I feel like I could have stood up for myself a little bit better. Um yeah, that
I
was
don't think
my
you needed to. I'm telling you. Well, I haven't watched the whole thing yet, but trust me, I'm gonna get to it. I am definitely gonna get to it. What would you say this has probably been of content creators that you've collabed with or people that you've interviewed? Not regular everyday people. Would you say that this was probably the most surprising interview that you've done?
mm, yeah, I would yes. Yes, that was I swear to God. I walked in there thinking it was gonna be a pleasant interview. I swear to God, like I thought this was gonna go a completely different way. And yeah, you'll see like there are points where I'm just like smiling like, uh-huh.
he I did see one point in the interview because I was watching it a little bit last night. Um, was it the 20 mark, 20-minute mark, 15-minute mark? And you were asking him a question. But then even just this part right now where you were following up and you was asking him about you was talking about like Rolo Tomasi and AMS and stuff like that. When he started going into, why he didn't rock with the red pill philosophy and things like that, and Dr. Bus and things like that, it was hypocritical to me because it's the same exact philosophy that you can apply to anything, including Christianity, right? Like you can literally say, oh, okay, well, there's different types of or different people that separate themselves and call themselves this type of church or this type of church or this type of philosophy or whatever. And even when you start using like Steph is Cold as an example or stuff like that, they speak to a specific demographic, right? Coach Greg
Mhm.
Adams speaks from a perspective of a guy that's been married and divorced, and so he gives red pill insight based off of or insight of what wouldn't even say red pill insight, but insight based off of what you can experience or what the reality is as far as dealing with women or dealing with relationships from a guy that's been divorced. Steph Cole has never been married, so I don't understand what he's talking about when he was calling it Dr. Seuss versus Hamlet. I don't understand that. Did I miss something?
No.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't either. And that's another thing. Like there was a lot of times where there are things I wanted to say that if I knew it was that type of interview, I would have come a little bit more prepared with
Yeah.
like rebuttals like that one. But again, I thought this was going to be I was not expecting to be compared to a porn star. I was not
He
expecting.
compared you to a porn star?
Yeah, you didn't get there yet? Yeah, yeah. That's why I was like thinking, I was like, I should have waited a
Oh.
little longer. But
No, no,
um
no, no, no. This is good because now I can the way that he rambled, it's difficult. It's hard to take in that those analogies and he go all the way around and he never even asking a question on a lot of this stuff. It's very difficult.
yeah. And there was another point where he kind of what did he say to me? He said, Are you listening to respond or are you listening to talk? And I was just thinking, I've been listening a lot. I've been listening, and then I was like about to say something because what'll happen is, have you ever had a guest? They'll make assertion 1, assertion 2, assertion 3, assertion 4, all in one, and you kind of have to break them down one by one. And so sometimes you may interrupt a guest in order to go over point 1, and yeah, and so I was getting ready to say something, and I was just like, that was so rude. I was not raised like this.
But you look very relaxed. Like you was chilled, you was sitting back, you was very composed.
Yeah, because there's no, again, like when I'm in an interview, I will never let someone rattle me, and I will always stay calm. But then, like later, I'll be thinking about it, and I'll be like, God damn, I can't believe he did that.
What about what did you think about the last week's Lapeef episode where you was catching all kind of assertions and shots? They asked you about your personal family and your personal life and all of that. What did you think about that?
Oh, that was interesting. Yeah, it was just kind of like the girls on the panel didn't really go into it with, like, what do they say, in good faith. And it was like I'm getting accused of things, and it's just like I just met you. Like we haven't even started.
You at that space though, right? Because you're growing, and they have the ability to be able to watch your content, but you don't know what you're always getting into.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in a difficult space right now, Pearl.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't like mad or anything. I actually thought the panel was very entertaining. I had more fun on that one than I did in this interview. I would go back. That was fun, but
don't worry,
yeah.
We'll have you back. I promise you, we'll have you back. but I don't understand what Hafiz was doing. I don't understand what he was saying. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never ever even commented on Hafiz's stuff. I never really took in their content because I never believed I never believed he was real. Mm-hmm. Like I never believed that he was what it was that he represented himself to be in the very beginning. Personally, I just never went for it. I always looked at him as a chameleon. I could tell by the way that he talked that he wasn't really rocking with a lot of the different talking points and platforms that he was subjecting himself to earlier in his career. I think that he was just doing it in order to get on, but I don't think that he was really believable. He wasn't believable for me. As a guy that's been married for 18 years, like I'm not just married yesterday. As a guy that's been married 18 years, I can see it. I can see it.
What do you think? Being married, do you push guys to get married?
No, I don't. I tell people that I want you to understand what marriage entails and how to be successfully married if you decide that this is what you want to do, right? I think that it is necessary if you want to do certain things. So, for example, I know that kids raised in two-parent households are much more successful than kids that aren't, right? And so if you want kids, I'm going to suggest that, hey, before you ever consider that, if you want to put your kids in the best position possible, first you need to protect yourself. You need to understand what it is you should get yourself into. And the nature of a woman is no different just because you want to have kids, right? And so I'm going to give them the insight. I always tell guys that marriage is a business first. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have love or you shouldn't love the person or grow to love the person as you get into it. But I think that people need to be happy with themselves. Before you get into a relationship and become interdependent on somebody else, because all you're doing is trauma bonding. Like the fact that bodies still matter, how many people you slept with, that still matters. The nature of what women want, provision and protection versus what men want, it still matters. You need to understand what you're getting yourself into. And if you're going into it with your eyes wide shut, you're going to be open for a rude awakening because it's a lot of people that go into it and they get their ass handed to them in a marriage. You know what I'm saying? And so I've never known divorce in my family. So if you decide that you want to get married, I'm going to give you the game on how you can be successfully married. But I absolutely would never just push people to just get married for the sake of getting married or for the sake of, because you're going to do more damage than you're going to do good to yourself. I'd rather you figure it out while you're not married than figure it out when you get married and then you find yourself in a bad situation that you don't want to be in for the rest of your life. So no, I don't push people to get married. I just tell them what it is that they need to do in order to be successfully married. It's a completely different thing.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I'm very much, when I first got into Red Pill, I didn't understand why people were so anti-marriage. Because, you know, I grew up in a 2-parent household and my parents are still married. So I was like, this seems like a good idea. You know, most people I know are married. However, the more I learned about the laws, I was like, God damn, if I was a guy, I would not want to get married.
Yeah, it is a.
And that's what I was trying to communicate to Hafiz, but he was just like, so you think that we should just give up? And I'm like, well, that's not what I said, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't even acknowledge. Oh, that's the part. One of the parts I was saying. He wouldn't even acknowledge because he kept asking you. That's the part that I was saying. He kept grilling you on. He kept asking. So you saying that? What did he say? He said, so you saying that it wasn't right before? It wasn't right before, and then you answered, and you was like, he was asking you about the marriage laws or something like that, and he kept pressing and pressing you and kept saying, so you saying that marriage wasn't right before? It wasn't right before. Something like that. And I was like, why do you keep trying to emphasize that?
Yeah, because he kept wanting, I kept saying it was more fair. That's what I kept saying. And I didn't want to say.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And the other thing that made me mad is he said, I use the definition. I felt like I was being gaslit because he said, I use the definition of of a praxeology. And he was like, what's the definition? And I didn't say that. I watched the interview
you
back.
said, well, most people can't. No, he asked you, he said something, he said another thing. He said, people say statistics a lot. He said, people say statistics a lot. And he was like, well, where did you get that from? But it doesn't mean that it isn't right. Right? It doesn't mean that the statistics aren't accurate. And he was saying that anybody can say a statistic, but then I can't substantiate where you got it from or whatever. And all of that. And he was like, well, most people can't just cite their source when they're having a conversation. But if you want to look up, she was like, you said you can Google it. You can go and look it up or you won't.
That's what I was saying. I was willing to do it right then because I have looked up that stat before. Like I know that one. Like there are some where you kind of it's like rough, but I'm like I could cite that one word for word. Like I have read that one, but I couldn't tell you the exact source off the top of my head. Like sorry. And even in the interview, I said we can look it up now, and he didn't want me to do it. So
no, he didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I didn't understand because I would think that it was going to be a conversation. Like it was just going to be a cool dialogue. Y'all was going to kick it, have fun, laugh, talk about, different philosophies, women, marriage, whatever, so on and so forth. But it turned into a heated debate. It looked like he was going at you harder than he went at Greg Adams. Mm-hmm.
I think, I will say, I think sometimes because I'm agreeable and I'm a girl, like, people kind of talk to me a different way that I know if there was a guy in the room or like if there was a guy at the discussion, like I don't feel like it would have been the same thing personally. And I think it's just like it's kind of like when you have someone that's more agreeable. I don't necessarily think it's just because like I'm a girl. Like it's just because I'm agreeable,
Yeah.
and people talk to you a certain way than if there was someone that's disagreeable in the room.
Last week with Lapeef, the girl, I forgot her name, B. Taylor, she was surprised that you don't necessarily pick the guests for your show. She was very, very surprised. A lot of people, I think that was the first time that they learned that.
Yeah, I did early on. So in like the first maybe 3 months of my show, I did the recruiting. But God, I'm telling you, that is the hardest part. You outsource that as soon as you can because that is hell. I promise to God, you cannot be that picky with recruiting. It is hell. That is hell on earth. And it's funny she was coming at me about that because I was just thinking like we're kind of in between recruiters and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do when I get back.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, oh God, I really hope to God I don't have to recruit again. And yeah, no, I don't know who's coming. It's basically like first we used a guy, his name's Eddie. And he would recruit people from Instagram. And then we were trying to get more guests that disagreed, so I tried an agency,
Mhm.
but they've kind of been dropping the, like, we had to cancel a show because no one showed up the other day. So yeah, I don't even know how we're going to recruit going
Wait,
forward.
you talking about in Dallas?
No, in London.
Oh, okay. Why did you go to London in the first place? Like, what made you just? Because I remember, listen, I've been following your journey, and I remember we DM'd early on and all of this other type of stuff. I remember when you first picked up and moved, and you was doing the videos, and you was doing the Instagram videos about you leaving and all of this other type of stuff, or your whole, what made you pick up and go there?
I was recruited to play volleyball.
Ah.
Yeah, I still play.
That.
Yeah, a lot
Do
of people
you really?
don't know it. Yeah, I still play. A lot of people don't know. I'm a woman.
You're gonna have to give it up pretty soon.
Yeah, I kind of did. So London is semi-pro. And so a lot of people go semi-pro for a year and then go pro. And I was offered to go pro this year and I turned it down. And so now it's kind of like, I told my coaches I'll kind of come when I can. And
you gotta give it up. You're too big now. You're too visible.
Yeah, no, I know.
There's no way that you're gonna be able to still do that.
Yeah. This is my last season. Yeah.
Are you still playing? Really?
Yeah, no, I played in a game before. I'm playing in a game when I get back. I played in a game before I left.
Pearl, you ain't got time for that.
I do, somehow, barely.
Jesus Christ. Did you expect to be this popular this quick?
No. I expected to be at 100,000. I had my goals for this year, and I wanted to get to 100,000 by the end of the year.
So much for that.
Yeah. I thought I could do 100.
Did you readjust your goals? What's your goals now?
I want to hit 1 million. I don't want to say. I really want to do it before January, but I don't think I'm gonna hit it. I think it'll be February. Yeah, that's my new goal, and I want to hit. I'd like to build up a TikTok account again. I was almost at 1 million before they took it away.
You're never getting that back. You know you're never getting that back.
Yeah, well.
How do you feel about, who I really like? I like Real Femme Sapien.
Oh, Allie, yeah.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah, I love Allie.
So I love her. I love a lot of the different content creators that's coming on. You should check out Courtney Michelle. She's really good. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but you should check her out. I think you would love her.
She used to be on the Lapeef Let's Talk show. Yeah, I think I've seen clips of her.
Yeah, she dope. You would love her. But I just want to congratulate you on all your success. You awesome. We love you. We're going to have you back on the Lapeef Network. So.
Yeah, thank you.
From now, do you have any other thoughts that you would like to leave with the people, Pearl?
Not really. Just know, I just wanted people to know that I was not expecting this. That's the main thing about the interview, is that I came in thinking this was going to be a pleasant conversation, and I was not expecting to have my whole life questioned.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What made you decide to put it out anyway? Like, when you was contemplating it, what was like, the thing that you was like, skip it, I'm gonna just go ahead and put it out anyway? Oh, and one more follow-up question. After that. Have you heard from him, like, since you put it out?
I haven't heard from him. What made me decide to put it up is I hate when content creators do that, because I actually thought I was going to look bad in it at first. I felt like I didn't do a good job, and I felt like people were going to like support him. I don't know, in my head. And so I felt like, yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, oh, people are just going to come at me, and like, he just gives them more fuel to the fire. And then I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't, because he like questions you on all these things. But I was like, you know what? I hate when content creators do that, when they don't put out a piece of content because they don't think they look good in it. I was like, good or bad, I'm just going to stand on it, because I don't think I said anything that wasn't true or that I regret saying. So I was like, you know what? I'll put it out. That
Do
was
you
my
worry
thought.
about people coming at you? Because like as a content creator, we're used to people reacting to our content for saying different things or whatever. Do you worry about that at all? Does that bother you? Do you lose sleep when people, you know, say things, or if you was to hear something from another content creator that you thought that you was rocking with, or you thought rocked with you or liked you, do you then pivot?
Um, it bothers me when it affects my family. And I've had times like where they like call my mom, or like they get my like someone got my mom's number and my sister's, so I don't like that. For the most part, no, because I kind of can call what the like. There's like 4 or 5 insults that I've like made a list of the ones they like most commonly use.
Did you
Just because it's
really?
like what?
Did you really?
Yeah. Because it's kind of I kind of was like analyzing them. I'm like, well, it starts with looks, and then it goes to you're not married, and then it goes to what's the next one? And then they say I'm insecure, and so then they like say
Uh,
it's like weird. Like women do this thing where they psychoanalyze you. So they'll like they'll ask you about your childhood and stuff, and I'm like, what on earth? These people are weird. And then those are the 3 that they start with. Oh, and then grifter. That's the 4th thing. You make too much money.
what? What is that? I don't understand that. What do you mean?
Yeah. It's like they don't like he calls me this in the interview, but they basically say you're just doing it for money, and they just say you don't
But
believe
this is
these
what you've
things.
been doing for the entirety of pretty much the entirety of the time that I've known you on the internet.
Oh no, I've been viral for a lot of things. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
but
I
that's
used
what I'm
to,
saying. I'm saying you've been doing content creation for a very long time though.
like I've been on YouTube 2 years,
But you was on other platforms before you was on YouTube though.
2.5, 6 months on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Before that, yeah. But I used to do you're right. I used to do a lot of other things. Like I almost went on national TV for relationship quizzes, and that was a primarily female audience. I probably would have made more money if I went after the women.
But I don't
So
really understand why that is even relevant though, because you becoming successful doesn't stop them from being able to be successful too, or doing whatever it is that they do with the audience that rock with them. I don't understand that.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And the crazy thing is a lot of the people that like say that, it's how many have done a live show 4 times a week with people in studio? You know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not that's a lot of work. Like it's I swear to
Oh,
God,
I
it's so
know. I gotta go over to. I'm flying to a different city, and then I'm flying to another city right after that.
mhm.
And I got somebody that is a real pain in my ass right now. To be honest with you,
Who?
you want to know who it is? You want me to say his name? Fucking Lamar Odom. Oh my god! Listen, it's a lot of people that I didn't I got interviews in a can that I haven't released yet and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's his people or what, but it is like it's the most diva treatment that I've ever had to deal with in my entire life.
Mhm.
It's a headache, Pearl.
I liked the interview you did with Brittany Renner. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, like she was cool. She was real cool.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting interview. I want to get. I tried to DM her. I want to get her on our show. I don't know if she'd come on though.
I can put you in contact with her.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
think?
I'll call her for you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I
I've
I
done.
I'll send you a message. I'll put you in. She'll rock with you. Her people is really cool. She really she's very apprehensive at first because she don't know what the she tries to understand what the objective of the interview is first, but
Mhm,
I give her I'll tell her what's up, and then I'll
mhm,
have her reach out to you. She cool. She real cool.
mhm.
But you'll love it.
Cool.
She was
Thank
scared
you.
of me the first time she met me.
She was scared. You're pretty nice.
She was scared. She thought I was gonna like tear her apart and grill her and all of that. And I was just chilling. I was just
Mhm,
having a conversation. I asked her what I wanted to ask her, but
mhm.
I was just having a conversation. I was chilling.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of times, girls will do that with me too, where they think I'm gonna like come at them as soon as I meet them, but it's like
Apparently, you only got to worry about people, the guys like Hafiz. I still don't understand why he was so wound up. I do not get it. I'm very confused.
That's what I'm telling you. When he kept saying like, let's not play these games, and then I would say, what games? I'm not playing a game. And then he'd be like, oh, I'm just talking. Like, this is how I speak. And I'm like, huh? Is this like a normal phrase in conversation? You accuse people of playing, like, yeah.
If this is the way that he is in his household, I would never wish like I always want people to stay married and all of this other type of stuff. So I only wish well on people. But this can't be how he operating in his household. This cannot be how he's operating. No way, no how. Not in real life. Because even on the internet, like I can go back and forth with people on the internet, debating or whatever. I'll be on the Lapeef network. We don't I tell JR, don't tell me who's coming on or whatever. I just want to be authentically surprised or whatever like that. But in real life, I've never ever had a problem with anybody that I've ever interacted with on an interview or anything like that. It's just chill. It's just a vibe of conversation. So it's weird that happened with you.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I forgot. I did have not an interview, a show where a girl threatened to come beat me up after. I was like, girl, you're like 5'5". Stop
In
it.
real life?
Yeah. Not during the show, but she didn't like the clips. And basically, like when the clips came out, she was telling my recruiter, because I won't deal with these people. So I'm like, if you're gonna go crazy, talk to someone else. And she basically said she was gonna come to my apartment, because I shoot at my apartment with her like cousins and beat me up. And I was like, well, I hope she doesn't do that, but I can't really stop you. So I'm like, what are you gonna do? Wait all day, like for me to come out? Okay.
You have a lot of brothers and sisters.
Yeah, 10 total.
When we was talking on the Lapeef network, and you mentioned that, and I, I've been looking at your posts and things like that. So I've seen like you interacting with your family and all of that other type of stuff. And then you talked about on the Lapeef network how your mother is a very very hard worker and things like that. What number are you in the 10? Because you one of the younger ones, right? You
No.
one of the older ones.
So it's an interesting story, because I'm one of 6 originally, and I was the second out of the 6 growing up. I was the oldest girl. I'm between 2 boys. So when I was growing up, there was 6 of us. I have one brother my parents gave up for adoption, so I didn't know he existed till I was 22. And then there's 3 adopted. One was a teenager that was like, because my dad's one of 13, my mom's one of 9. So we just have a lot of like cousins, and she was a second cousin that was like, her mom was an alcoholic, so they adopted her because she was just in a bad situation. But she was 16 when they adopted her, and she moved out 2 years later. And then a similar situation with another like second cousin. But they adopted him after I moved out. And then there was a kid that was homeless on my brother's football team that they adopted too. So then there's 10 total.
Bro.
Yeah.
That is a lot. I don't know how y'all survived. I don't know how y'all was able to do it. That is a lot. I grew up with 3 brothers, and that's a lot.
Yeah. But when I was growing up, there was 6 in the house. So when I was a kid, I would say I had 5 siblings.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, it was. It was good though. I think it's good. I think like everyone kind of competes with each other for your parents' attention. So you try to be like a better kid, or like, so I mean, some people do it the wrong way. Some people, but our family, we go for achievement. Sports. school, whatever you're good at, you gotta.
Was you play volleyball your whole life, pretty much?
Yeah, and basketball.
That's pretty awesome. How come you didn't seek to go and play basketball in college and stuff like that?
Oh, I played basketball in college. I ran
Did you
track
really?
too. Yeah, I ran track too.
God damn it, Pearl. Now I'm gonna have to do some research on you before I ever interview you again. Jesus
No, you're
Christ.
okay. I wasn't that good at basketball though. I was better at volleyball, so I talk about volleyball a lot more. But I
Yeah.
did play on the basketball team.
Your life is changing, Pearl. Did your parents, did your siblings think that you would be like this? That everything was gonna turn out like this? Because I mean, you've been creating content. You've always been creative. And a lot of what you was doing, like a lot of the stuff that I caught earlier on was in your household and your family and stuff like that. Like, did they think you was crazy? Pearl, she just being crazy. She out here running around with a camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I quit my job to be a TikToker. My dad was
Did you
shook.
really?
Yeah. And it was funny because I had nothing. Like, I had like 20,000 TikTok followers, which is nothing.
Yeah.
But I felt like I was meant to do it. And I just quit. And then I moved home with my parents. And I was like, yep, I'm here to be
What did your dad
say?
say? What did your dad say?
My dad thought I was crazy. He did. That's a fact. But my dad has always said you can make money doing anything, and I don't care if you make money selling toothpicks on the side of the road. Like, do what you love and do it while you're young, because when you're older, things change and you have a lot like more people that depend on you to think about. But my dad always encouraged us to do what you love and the money will come. That's what he told me.
Yeah, the interesting thing about TikTok is that all of the people that I know that are doing really well with it doesn't necessarily make any money from TikTok. They make it all from the sponsorships that come along with the TikToks.
That's true.
Were you just wanted to blow up, or you already kind of had that goal in mind?
It never really was about money or followers. It was always about creating interesting content to me. Like, I just think there's nothing like a video that's just entertaining and well put together.
Yeah.
One that comes to the top of my head was the Andrew Tate Cheyenne Reynolds interview. That was just a beautiful piece of content.
Yeah.
Like, that's so entertaining. You want to watch it for an hour. I think that's so cool. But the red pill, when I got into that stuff, I was just learning all this stuff I'd never heard of, and I just thought it was so interesting.
Yeah, I had seen. I think one of the first things I had seen, I think you was having your friend check out. I don't know. I don't even remember. I didn't watch so much of your content. So
There's a lot of it back then. There's still a lot, but back then it was very random too.
do you ever look back at your content? When me and Kev, we used to have conversations, and one of the things that he always told me was that he left up his content that he would first make, even though when he went back and looked at it, it was like cringe for him, right? Because he's like, God, all he can do is see the flaws in himself of when he had first started making content. Do you ever remove or take down content, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you ever look back at stuff and say, I don't really like that anymore. I want to remove it. Because I just kind of leave up everything. I never remove anything.
For the most part, I leave stuff up. There is times where I have taken a video down because I think I put too much like personal information in it. Because back then no one was watching. So now it's like I might have said, like, one time I think you could kind of see where my parents like lived or something, and I was like, I'll take that one. There's too many people on here now.
Yeah. I'm now in the process of continuously changing my addresses regularly because my address is somehow ending up on the internet all the time. So I don't know what that is. But
yeah, they got mine too. Not my new one, my parents' one. That's what bothers me, is when they go after like your family. It's like you're making people pay for my decision to be on the internet, and it kind of makes you feel bad because like they didn't choose that.
Yeah, it's a wild situation, but I just kind of expected it as a content creator. I never really got on the internet expecting it for this to be anything. I was using this as an ability to be able to market myself and corporate America more effectively when I first got on it. And then it just kind of morphed into whatever it is today. But I don't know. I don't know, P. So what's next for Pearl?
I fly back to London today.
Today? How long of a flight is that?
12 hours.
Jesus Christ. A long flight.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we're gonna do shows again. And we're opening wife school. Hafiz had some thoughts that he felt like I did not do it the way he wanted to. Asking me about season 7. I'm like, let me finish season 1.
Yeah.
I was so irritated.
Would you
then he's like, this
interview
was
him
my
again?
idea. I'm like, what do you mean it was your idea?
Would you interview him again?
I don't want to say never. Maybe. No, I don't know.
At least you considered it.
I mean, well, I'm just thinking like I'd maybe go on a panel or something if he wanted to, like, it's going viral if he wanted to like talk about it. But would I go out of my way to interview him again when you spent the last time I interviewed you called me, you compared me to a porn star, you called me a grifter, a fraud, a panderer, and then every time I said, "Did you like?" I think that's what you're saying that about me, and they'd be like, "Oh, not you, female red pillars." I'm like, "There's like 5 of us," so like I don't know who else. There's no one bigger than me. Like,
do you think?
Like, I don't know who else.
That's true. That is very true. All right, I got 2 more questions.
So
the longer we had this conversation, the
Okay.
more questions I come up with. Do you think that you don't have to answer this? Do you think that he's like torpedoing himself? Like he's actually looking really bad, like he's Will Smithing himself right now? Like just from a content creator's perspective, based off of what you know, do you think he's hurting himself?
I think if you build up an audience on one thing and then turn on them, they'll never trust you again.
Yeah.
That's my So if you build up an audience saying this is what I believe, and then it would be like if tomorrow I did a men are trash rant, that I would be done. I would be done. I don't believe that. I would never say that, but that's like the equivalent of what he's doing.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, I see him comparing him to Derrick Jackson right now. They're saying that that's kind of like based off of his rhetoric, that's the lane that he's trying to fill or something like that. I don't know what his objective is. I'm genuinely curious as to what it is that he's trying to do right now.
I don't know. I think he just wants to listen to himself talk, tell everyone else what to do. You know what's funny? Okay. It reminded me of my one-on-one session with him. You
spoke about that in the interview. I seen that part.
Yeah, well, because when I did that, I was actually kind of mad. I didn't really get what I wanted out of it. I thought he was cool at the time, but it was like I would ask him a question and he'd give me a rant about how to not do it for money. And then I'd ask him like another question in this like one-on-one, and then he'd be like, well, you can't do it for money, da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, but like because my question in that interview was like, what are the best ways to monetize on a platform? And so like there's ad revenue, super chat. Like I just want to know like what's the best way to do it.
Well, then he would break down and he would say, well, YouTube take this percentage of
that's what I was hoping for at the time. Or like, should I pursue brand? Because at the time I was making nothing, so I was like, I gotta make something. So
well, it depends on what platform you're on, but yeah, I got what you're saying.
Yeah, and he would just give me this. It was like I remember getting off that call and being like, that was a waste of my money because he just told me don't do it for money, and I'm like, okay, but you got to make something.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Well, things have changed. Looks like he needs to book a call with you. All I hate to make him the butt of my jokes, but I don't really care. I don't really know him
He
like
should. I'd help him with his titles. I really am not a fan of their titles. I would improve those. I would. I would. Because a lot of people don't know. My manager actually trained me, and he managed. I just stole. But you know how goated I am. I don't want to brag,
No,
but
talk your talk.
I
Talk your
stole
talk.
I stole Ben Shapiro, Jordan Peterson, Candace Owens, like all their YouTube manager. He just quit, so he works for me now. So
Nice.
I was like,
Flex.
I
Hey,
stole
hey,
him.
flex.
So yeah,
Light
yeah. So
flex.
so so he my manager just taught me like titles and thumbnails and like that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
I always look at channels through the lens of like titles and thumbnails. And yeah,
Yep.
I have some notes if he wanted them. But
Yes. 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 We all need them. Listen, forget him. Send him to me. I take all the information and insight and understanding that I can take. I don't have that type of pride. I'm always going into the thing that's best for me. Forget all of that. He don't even like you. See that?
really,
He called you a grifter. Now what?
yeah.
You
Then
put
I'd be
you
like, yeah. But then he said, but not you, not you. It was a room with me and him in
no.
it. It was a room with me and him in it, and then he would say, not you, and I'm like, you said you. You said
No.
you.
No, we don't want to hear that. Don't spend your listen, go where you appreciate it, not when you tolerate it.
Yeah.
So what happens once you hit 1 million? What happens once you hit two? What happen like does life because let me tell you why I'm asking you this question. From a financial perspective, I'm in a space now to where, I don't believe it's nothing that I can't do that I'm not already doing. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna buy any better cars. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna buy any better watches. I got floor seats to the games that I want, to every game that I want. Like I'm pretty
Oh, the
comfortable.
floor seats.
Yeah,
Okay,
when you
you need a plus. You
come
need a
this
plus.
way, we're gonna make sure that you're taken care of. But I mean, in a general sense, like I can't imagine that 1 million is any different from 1.5 million. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
is life like? Do you think that life is gonna change for you in any major way outside of continuing to do what you already currently doing?
I can't think of a way it would change. I'm like trying to think of one.
But why do we do it then? Why do we
Um,
do it outside of then? Like, once you hit a threshold, you know what I'm saying? Like, the milestones is just kind of like numbers at a point. It
mhm.
just kind of become
Mhm.
the gamification. Why what do you think is because like I heard this statistic a long time ago back when I was in like college or something like that. Like once you hit like 70,000, which obviously we know that number is much bigger or whatever now, but once you make like this amount of money per year, your happiness or your lifestyle don't really evolve or change. You just get a little bit more busy. Do you
Mhm.
think that that's true? Do you think your life is going to change any?
Um, no, I've never been a big spender, to be honest. So I don't really see that changing. I'll
What do you spend
probably
your money on, Pearl? What are you talking about?
everything I've spent, I like invested back in. Like most of my clothes are old. Like I've had them a couple years. Like I don't really buy stuff.
Pearl. Pearl. You got
um,
to spend some money, at least a little
should
bit.
I? Should I? What should I buy?
Yes.
What should I buy?
Well, it depends because your lifestyle is you don't know where you're going to be town to town the next day. So yours is a little bit different. But you got to
Uh
do the
huh.
experiences. Like, you got to
Okay.
go
What's
to the concerts that you want to go to and sit front row or
okay.
it's more about experiences. It's not really about stuff at this point. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So you got to do the things, but you got to do it all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go and see somebody or you go to an experience, you got to be like the best of whatever it is that you do.
mm-hmm.
That's what you got to spend money on. It's the crazy
Okay. So I'll go
experiences.
to I'll go to a concert and I'll tag you when I go.
But I'm saying like, okay, so like, who was your favorite player? Like volleyball player or something like that, right? Like I know that it's somebody that you really love or grew up admiring or something like that.
Not really. I don't watch sports. I was my own favorite player.
Okay, so what about like, I don't know, speaker?
Music? I'll tell you.
Okay,
I like I like Morgan Wallen and Luke Combs.
okay.
They're country
I
singers.
know who Luke Combs is.
Yeah,
So
I think.
when next time you see Luke Combs, like, don't wait till he come to your city. Like, fly over there, make it a whole experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, do stuff like that. That'd be the things that's the
Oh,
most
that would
memorable.
be fun. That would be fun.
Like, I got this whole list of bucket list of things. Like, my thing,
Hmm.
like, I wanted to see LeBron play in a Lakers uniform front row. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So like, and it just so
Hmm.
happened to be he got into a fight and got kicked out of the game when he was at the last. You know, when I finally went. Like, I got a list of bucket list items. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
when I go to Tokyo, I want to fly Delta One to where you can
Hmm.
go to sleep and lay back like that. You know what I'm saying? And I
I'll tell you my problem. I'm still cheap. That's my.
oh, Pearl, come on, Pearl.
I grew up in a cheap family, okay? And it's like, I swear to God, this is what they would say in my videos. Y'all are rich but you look poor. And I'm like, that's the Davis in me. That's the Davis in me. My dad, I grew up, it's funny because my parents had more money than everyone else. But I remember being jealous that everyone else had TV at home and everyone else could fly to vacation because we were never flying. We drove. We drove to freaking Chicago to
That probably
Washington.
helped you. Because I mean, you was willing to like quit and be like, listen, I wasn't doing nothing anyway. I might as well just go and be a TikTok star and just go after my dreams.
Yeah, yeah. And I was in copier sales. I don't know if you know much about that industry, but it's pretty bad. So it didn't take much convincing. I was like,
No,
oh.
you got to give yourself a budget. Like, just take like whatever it is that you generate. Obviously, you know you got to do whatever the taxes or whatever, so on and so forth. But like, just allocate a budget to be able to like check off the different things that's on your bucket list.
Mm,
Because it's different than an athlete, right? Being a content creator, like we gonna own our content forever. Like,
mhm,
it's a strong possibility based off of the different things that we doing and stuff that we interviewing. We'll be able to license this stuff out, you know. And I'm gonna tell you, even though like Lamar Odom is a pain in the butt, it's some things that his team is teaching me that they don't even realize that they teaching me. Because like for example, I got to get a fucking approval to put it out past the platforms that we negotiate for the content to be able to exist on
mhm,
through his people. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like it's a lot of things that they teaching me and teaching my team from a business perspective that we didn't even know, right? So
mhm,
the monetization of a lot of this stuff is going to be for forever. And it's
mhm,
not like being an athlete, because being an athlete, you know, you make a certain amount for a window for a particular time, particular period of time. But once you have that level of visibility, pro, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. You'll make money forever.
mhm.
So you're gonna have
I
to
hope so.
you're gonna
I
have to
like
step
making
out.
money. I like making money for just being myself. So that's about.
Yeah. I mean, and
So
that's
I hope
dope. And you got a sweet spirit. You very nice. Even when I ask you questions about people that tried to tear you down, you just so nice and you don't even want to say nothing. Like, you're just a nice person. See, I'll just say it. Like, I'll just be like, listen, he was an asshole, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But you gotta start spending a little bit of money. You ain't gotta spend all of it. You ain't gotta turn
so.
into
Okay. I'll. I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking. I do kind of want a car. I don't have a car, and I was thinking maybe I'll get a car. That's what I was thinking.
oh, Pearl, tell me you got a car. You don't even got a
No,
car,
no,
Pearl?
no, 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 no car.
Pearl. Is it because you
We'll
just
see.
travel a lot, or is it because you just don't care? I don't understand.
Well, I live in London. You don't need a car there. But I
Where did you just
don't.
leave from? You just got to London recently, right?
A year ago,
But you were somewhere else before London, though.
Chicago.
No.
Oh, you mean on this trip?
Yeah.
Oh, I went to New York and I did a Vice panel. Then I did Eight at the Table in New Jersey. That one's going to be very entertaining if you know that
Yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah.
Then I did Dallas and then LA. And then now I just went and now I'm in Vegas.
Okay. All right. And now you're about to go back to London. But then you'll
Yes.
be back here. Well, I don't want to say where you're gonna be at, but we'll be connecting in person.
Yeah. I'm sure at some point. At Christmas, I'll probably do another tour for when I'm home
Yep.
for Christmas. So
Yep. That's what I was thinking in December. But
yeah.
you know, yeah, we figuring it out. We got to plan it better this time. Cause you was just
Well,
like scared of the moment last time. He's like, "Are you still here?" And I'm like, "No, I'm gone." Do
no,
I need to
okay.
fly back and kick it with you?
To be fair, what happened was Vice flew me out for a panel last minute. So it
Okay.
was like a week before they asked me to be on the panel, and I went out like a week later.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like what happened was I was like, I'll do 10 days in the US and I'll pick a content creators like in each city or
Yeah.
whatever. And I didn't know where you were, and I kind of forgot. Yeah, I don't know. So I was like, I was spending a
As soon
lot.
as I had left, he was like, "Are you there?" I'm like, "No. Why you ain't tell me?"
Yeah, well, I think I got there like a day after you left.
Yeah, you
So
did.
that was my bad. My bad.
No, you fine. Time, we got all the time in the world. You'll be fine. Anything else you want to leave with the people prior to flying to London?
No, yeah, just know again. I know I've said this before. I was not expecting this. I wanted it to be a pleasant interview. I came in for one thing. And also, I'm sorry I said so many times. Everyone keeps commenting on that. I see I need where I need to improve. I see where I need to improve.
Oh my God. This is so crazy. This is I of all the people on the internet that could have made a fool of themselves, I didn't expect for it to be Hafiz. I thought he had better media training than this. And it's not like he didn't, like, you guys haven't had a conversation or nothing like that before. Like, he just came in. I don't know. He must have got pissed off. Something is going wrong. Who knows? Anything could have went wrong inside of his household. I have no clue.
Yeah, I was surprised.
All right, Pearl. I'm going
But
to let you do your thing. You know, we love you.
Thanks for having me on.
Listen, anytime. You already know how to get in contact with me. I'll send you. We'll talk after this. I'm gonna send you I'll contact you after this so I can send you Brittany Renner and all of that other type of stuff.
Cool.
All right, love.
Bye.
Bye. My girl Pearl is in the building. You know what? What I'm gonna do, because I want to take a full afternoon to break this down. I'm gonna pivot on this. Anton from AntonDaniels.com is going to pivot on this. And what I'm going to do, because I'm thinking that I'm probably going to have the Lapeef wrap up tomorrow morning. And what I'll probably do is this weekend, I'll do a breakdown of this video. Yep, I'm going to do a breakdown of this video. So this was the Pearl takeover. Shout out to my girl Pearl. You will see us doing things in the future, collaborative. Been rocking with my girl for a minute now. We've been in contact with each other, but great things to come. So I love her. I think that she puts out really great content. I've learned a lot from her, and that's one of the biggest things that I want y'all to take away from this conversation is that you can learn a lot from people as long as you humble yourself enough to actually be able to take in the content, information, and understand it. You just don't know what you can learn from who. And I'm always looking to understand more than I am to respond, depending on the content and the context of the conversation that I'm having. Always. Anyways, listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I got a meeting that I got to tap into right now because it is 1:29 p.m. Eastern here, and I got a 1:30 meeting. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. I thank you guys for continuing to rock with me. I want y'all to do me a favor. Let me know who y'all want to tap in with. Let me know who y'all want me to interview with, who y'all want me to rock out with, who y'all want me to bring up on the panel. Actually, not even for the panel. Let me know who y'all want me to bring in person. I think that it's much more difficult for people to try to finesse me in person than it is to finesse me on a panel. So let me know, what these content creators like Hafiz and whatever. Y'all tell me who y'all want me to bring up on the panel. I had talked to I'm not gonna tell y'all where I talked to him at. I spoke with MTR, and we had MTR be so busy. I'd be really, really busy. And so me and MTR had kind of kicked it, and we said that we was gonna put some stuff together because we're not even that far from each other. So I want y'all to tap in with me. DM me on Instagram. DM me on Instagram. Who y'all want me to kick it with? Who y'all want me to bring into the studio after I get back from this weekend, from doing whatever it is that I got to do this weekend? I want y'all to tell me who y'all want me to reach out to and have a conversation with. We gonna change the entire dynamic of what goes on here, and it doesn't matter who it is. Send me a DM. Send me a DM and tell me who y'all want me to come and make sure that y'all see inside of the studio and have a conversation with. All right? I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Before y'all leave, make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. And then more importantly, make sure you tap into the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Patreon members, I'm letting go all of these interviews. Oh, and one more thing before we go. The Brittany Renner interview, the full interview, is being removed as of now. So I'm taking a whole Brittany Renner interview, and it's going to be removed from YouTube, and it is only going to be on Patreon going forward. So the first Charleston White interview, the Brittany Renner interview, all of that stuff is on the Patreon, and I'm letting go a lot of the other interviews that I've already done. I'm putting those on the Patreon ASAP. So if you have not seen it, the only place that you can catch it is with the Bag Chasers. I am literally going online, and I'm not going to jump offline. I'm not going to end this live stream until I actually remove it. So give me 1 second. 1 second. Let me remove this. Is Brittany boy show Brittany Renner for interview? It has been removed from the internet. All right, so Brittany Renner interview is completely removed from the internet. First Charleston White interview is removed from the internet. And I'm about to let a lot of other interviews go exclusively in the Patreon. And the only place you can get these interviews is in the Patreon. All right. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I got a lot of other content creators that y'all gonna absolutely love. And we're gonna do our thing. Make sure y'all tap into Lapeef Let's Talk tonight. We're gonna get it popping. And that's what it is. Patreon members, Bag Chasers, I love y'all. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be rich by ourselves. We want to make sure that we get it. We want to make sure that we do what we do. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Bag Chasers, unite. Form like Voltron. If y'all need to get in touch with me, email me at Anton Daniels 413 at gmail.com. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.